Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom what the truth is. Where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly with Unseen Tweets of Truth. We are the People's Podcast. I have Henry. And then I have Christy.
Hey.
And then I got some late bloomers that'll probably be popping in a minute. But anyways, I want to talk about how, what's the title mean to you, Henry?
Oh, let's see. Let me reiterate.
Live like you want to, not like you have to.
It means a lot to me. I think it can be viewed in a lot of different ways, even. But it goes back to, I believe, one of the most important things that we can do with the gift of life is to lead a happy life. And seemingly that can be hard to do. So I can't wait to delve into this subject a little deeper.
Christy, what's it mean to you?
I agree with Henry that it definitely can take on different meanings. However, for me personally, I've learned that the purpose is to be as healthy as possible, to live as well as possible for you, not only for yourself, but within the community and all the people that you will be in contact with. So I love it too, because it's going to have so much meaning to all of us. And I know everybody's going to bring their A game on this one. So I'm excited.
Yeah, when I thought of the title, I was thinking, people, and it's the silliest thing, what held me back is like, I have this pumice stone in my shower. And after it sits there for a while, I kind of put vinegar and stuff over it so it keeps the bacteria down, the smell down and stuff. And I was like, why am I doing this when I have a pack of them? But I'm living like I have to, not like I want to, I'm living where I'm keeping this because it's still good, even though I got a bunch to replace it. And that's what I do. I'm so frugal and whatnot because I'm so used to living paycheck to paycheck or with very little means or everything, because my mental was the fact that I was tied to something, tied to assistance, tied to working, tied to, when we talked about rock bottom, we didn't mention the fact of what got people there. We talked about, what was rock bottom to us, but we never talked about the mental part that got people there. And I think it's survival. I think people keep living like they have to, and they're living in survival mode, and they're living with a fight or flight. What do you think, Henry? That's what I think.
I think it's, you almost don't have a choice in the matter a lot of the time now. Things are crazy and things are expensive. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because the system wants me to. I think things are just kind of out of control in a lot of ways, and trying to keep your head above water has become a life-consuming thing. And I think some of the backlash I see from it and people suffering is that, kids and families are not spending as much time together as they used to. And technology has entered the game in a big way and changed the way we communicate. It's changed us as humans. We've evolved because of it. And it becomes increasingly, it's just hard. So
Christy,
Yeah.
can you relate to the fact that sometimes we live like we have to in a survival mode?
Oh, absolutely. It is forced upon you. And I don't think that anybody can deny that, no matter if they're in a democracy or if they live in a dictatorship or whatever. There are certain things that, no matter what, unless you are the 1%, is not in your control. And we don't have to be fearful of that so much. We can actually go ahead and understand so we know how to live. Because if you're telling me that the quote was always keeping up with the Joneses, you know, and if you think that I have to live like that in order to live well, to be successful within my own self and all that, then you're crazy. But it takes a lot of people to have that black sheep mentality of getting away from the herd and saying, you know what, that's not me, that's you, and that's all good, but don't judge me either. Don't make me feel like I'm nothing, because a lot of people out here were broken on that note. And to where you were talking about before, you didn't like that word. I'm not putting it out there to say everybody claim it to be so. It is that what you can see inside is something that is so damaged by a system in which was never designed to really care about the bulk of the people, you know. And when people understand the few cannot control the many, what a powerful statement. I'll leave it there.
So,
Christy.
so I have a question. Like when I know when I was at my rock bottom, I wanted a false sense of reality sometimes. I drank excessively. I had intercourse excessively. I did things because, and I didn't care because I didn't love me. So why do we want a false sense of reality when we're at a rock bottom, Henry? Does it make sense?
Well, sure, reality's ugly, right? Maybe reality's too ugly to bear. They say sometimes you have a hole in your soul, right, that you got to fill with something. And I don't mean that as a joke. I can, I guess, but it's humor's levity to everything. That's why I do that. But yeah, it's easier. It's not easier. It's a misconception that filling your head full of substances, I'll just use that just as rock bottom as an example, is easier than trying to deal with problems or be accountable or look at things or not put things off. And I suppose I drank, and I know a lot of other people who drank for that same reason, because even action gets really hard. Now, why that is a myriad of different reasons. You know, it could be depression, and drinking and drug abuse and addiction are all linked to mental problems. You know, they go hand in hand and they feed each other in horrible ways. So
I agree. Christy, do you want to answer that one, or I have a second question?
Just real briefly, because I think that Henry said it in his first sentence. And just to be clear with it, yeah, when you have to have something, like people talk about religions and things like that and say, why do people have religions and all that? And it's because you need to have something tangible. Even if you say, well, wait a minute, that can't possibly be, or whatever it is, you know, whether it's religion, whatever it is that you got going on with you. That's one of the things right there that, you know, people want to tamper into and tamper with. And that's something that you have to definitely protect, because you can fall quickly behind it. So I just want to add that real quick. Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, and since you said that, it leads me to my next question, but I want to read these comments real quick. Kendall says,
I'm right there on that part for being in survival mode. Absolutely.
our brother SGF Graham says,
he says, when we focus on what people expect, the external, versus what we expect, the internal, you may lose yourself and won't realize it until you're trying to find yourself.
so true, brother, so true.
Yeah, no one plans on trauma, right?
Not at all.
You know,
So my next question would be like, you say that, I forgot what you said. I apologize. I know her. You were saying what? That it's
on religion.
Okay, now wait, I got it now. So
Okay.
I apologize. He reminded me. So if someone can believe in God and Jesus or whatever you may call it, because you know it's your perception of what you want to call it. It's not my place to say. But whatever you feel comfortable saying, if someone can believe in that, then why can't they believe in themselves? If you have you can believe in something because you need something tangible, you said. That's what it was about. You needed something tangible to believe in. So you're believing in this ideal of, and I'm not trying to down religion or nothing because I'm all for it. I believe in the Most High and everything like that. But that being said, I don't have to overly explain myself. But at the end of the day, why do you think though that they can't believe in themselves? Even at a rock moment place, they're praying to a being that's not there physically when they are physically there, but yet they don't believe in themselves. They can't stop and say, hey, I need to get myself together. I know that I didn't cause this or I really want it to happen, but it's happened. So now that I'm at rock bottom, now I'm here. I'm going to either stay in this dark place or I'm going to get out of it by myself without looking for someone to hold my hand. Why is that so difficult? But yet, it's so many people can believe in a religion or believe in somebody on a white horse come to save you. You can believe in a fairy tale, but you can't believe in yourself.
A lot of people don't regard them as fairy tales.
And I don't mean religion's fairy tale. I mean like a happy ever after with knights and Prince Charming. That's the fairy tale I was talking about.
I would just say because death is misunderstood. We worry about death a lot. What happens when you die? Living as a good person, right? These are the ideals that religion you'd look at. They try to uphold.
But why can't you believe in yourself?
That's a matter of. It's an internal struggle. It's an internal struggle. I have my views on it. What I'm trying to do is not be abrasive to either side and look at it with the lens of how it affects people. I talk to people about religion. I don't champion religion a lot, and some of the hardest conversations I've had about religion were with people who met God on battlefields. And you see what it means to people, whether you feel a certain way about it or not. It's a very powerful force, and how to explain it without actually going into how I feel about it, but I don't want to.
Right.
I'll leave it at that because I want Christy to talk as well.
Yeah, Chrissy, so why do you think people can believe in something else? You said tangible. So why do you think they believe in something else that they cannot touch, yet it's harder for them to believe in themselves?
Because of what has been instilled in us for centuries. When you are in a country, okay, let's go talk about our country. Let's talk about the history of this country. Okay, once it got out of the hands of the Native Americans, okay, it became something that today is so prevalent that if you do not meet the two requirements, you are not considered a citizen of the United States, and you can be deported. So what I'm saying is that with faith, it's with religion. I'm going to say faith because I grew up Christian. What I had to see was that why people were coming up against me, and I still believe, because what I believed in me as well. I had a connection. It was people that beat it out of me. It was people that just wanted to rob me of the factor that I knew and had confidence in myself. It wasn't an arrogance or anything else. And so I took the blinders off because I was taught that, yes, you talk to these people and you talk to these people. Oh my gosh, like hell, like, yeah, okay, you're going to burn. So when you're thinking about things like that, then yes, like Henry said, then you're going to be thinking about death. And you're not going to look at it in a really neutral way of a beautiful transition, of going from life into another realm. We don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, I can't go upon people. I can only take them for their word when they say that, like Henry said, people tell you they met God, what I mean, and they've seen him, and with, what I mean, he specifically, was right there. But also there's been misconceptions that people don't understand. If you don't read, if you don't research, if you don't understand how to do these things, because a lot of the things in the Bible will tell you exactly what's going on, but people twist it a lot. And then when it comes to fairy tales, we were believing and grew up on these things that, yes, somebody was going to be there for us. We was beat into us. Come on, Disney made a profit on lying to us, because the Brothers Grimm, when you read their books, they were dark. So Disney bought them and brought them to light. So you see, when we don't sit up there and want to see the truth and just take little bites of it, nobody says you got to swallow the whole thing, but take little bites towards you getting to the point of being able to see what really is going on and how much control it is and all that. The scarier it will be out here. But you're not going to have people, everybody's not built the same. And people may say something, but they will do the opposite. So I leave it alone and I don't judge on that. But I just say that I'm grateful that I got from Christianity into spirituality and understanding that I'm able to be around and learn from so many people, that it was a lie to me that I couldn't speak to everybody, you know, when really, if I went back into the Bible, Jesus spoke to everybody. So I'll just leave it there. Like, you know, you just gotta stop believing everything without doing our own research.
There's 2 comments. I'm gonna let Henry read real quick.
Okay, we got SGF Graham. He says, all religion tells you that you are one. All religions say that the garden and all these stories are from within. The Bible says heaven is a faith inside your heart, which means you control it. It's just not taught that way. It's kind of along the lines we were talking about there.
Mm-hmm.
Chili Mo says, some people view loners in a negative context. However, some studies show that being a loner can lead to happiness for the individual and could actually be good for your health. Some people in this study experience greater life satisfaction with less frequent interaction with their friends. I have avoidant personality disorder. People with this disorder experience intense fear of criticism and rejection, leading them to avoid social situations and activities. This avoidance can manifest as reclusiveness, as they prefer to isolate themselves to protect their feelings of inadequacy. And that's definitely directed at the beginning of what we were talking about.
No, and that's true too. That is true too. And that's what I was going to get into. I'm glad you said that, because maybe it's a mindset. Why we feel that we got ourselves in that position of being rock bottom, so now we don't trust ourselves. Do you think that may be the case, because we're the ones that led us there? So then we have this doubt of trusting ourselves to get us out of there. Do you think that could be it, Henry?
I'm sorry, I actually had to upload this so we could do another one.
Okay.
I'm trying to double up. I'm actually trying to get us on TikTok and everything. We appreciate everybody commenting and liking and sharing and all of that, because we're trying to get out there and spread the message. It sounds really religious.
So did you hear what I said or no?
I didn't.
So
hi, do you have a few minutes to talk about mental health? No.
So I said, do you think that maybe because we are the one that got us to the negative spot, we're the ones that got us to that rock bottom, that now we don't trust ourselves because we put ourselves there? So now we have this thought in our head that maybe what we say and do is not really reliable because we're the one that got us in rock bottom.
I can't speak for everybody, so I will use it. I will use myself as an example because I have been to rock bottom. I'm 100% on that. Yes, I didn't believe in myself at all my entire life. There's little glimpses of my soul trying to reach through the addiction and say, please stop, we're worth it, you know this. And as I failed gigs and made fun, like screwed up on stage and felt alone completely, just in my room staring at terrible things.
I should probably waited for you to respond.
I could
because that would have been something great to have on life.
I had no faith in myself, you know. I wanted to not play the game anymore, and I tried to shut the game off a few times, and now I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, your teeth are fucked up. That's okay, you're working on it. You know, the rest of you is beautiful. Keep going. I have ultimate faith in myself. Even when I don't, I do.
We talked about that last night, and I love that for you because it took you a long time to get to that point. And some people don't. Some people still sit in that misery of what happened that they don't know how to get out of it. And they allow that negative energy to flow around them and become them. Every time a positive moment hits and they get a positive mindset, they switch it off into a negative real quick. Why do you think that is, Christy?
I think that it's because of how people's mindsets are, and without having to be diagnosed with anything. I think that that's just been the rhythmic thing that's been going on, is that when you're taken down, whether it's been all your life or at a certain point in your life where you've fallen, it is hard to sit up there and know that, wait a minute, this is what I did, and I thought I was doing right. You know, some things we knew we weren't doing right, you know, okay, but there's a lot of things that I know in my life that one wrong decision in one way, everything was just like costly. And so it began to be a thing where people, it's what they say to you and how they treat you. And when you're going through a lot of trauma behind trauma behind trauma, and you don't realize how big that trauma is and it keeps on hitting, then yes, when you're being pounded on for doing the right thing, and I will use my daughter's advocacy with her autism and not letting people beat on her in the school systems and not beat on her on the bus system. And because that's something that you're just supposed to tell somebody, they can't beat on my daughter. She's autistic. And so just for that, it cost me a lot. You understand? So to the point that if they were even trying to make allegations that I was allowing somebody to touch my daughter just to shut me up because they were doing wrong. They knew that the training and all that stuff wasn't right. Point being is that people can make you and do things to you so bad, back to back, that are traumas that we don't have time to just go and heal. Because we do have survival mode. I'm not a person that ever has been rich. So I understood about survival mode, and I understood about having to live frugal. You know, so that way it's not one of them things that I just go out there and just be like, oh yeah, I bought this, that. You know, I learned how to do those things. But the point being is that we do have to find that way out, Queen. We have to get that way, and we have to find those people and be open. See, the open mind of saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and talk to Miss Kimberly. I'm going to call her up and see if I can have a session and all that, even though I may be in this faith or I believe in that, whatever it is that you're doing, you know, religions, whatever it is. If somebody can sit up there and say, you know what, I can help you, then go ahead and reach out and get the help that can get you over the hurdle. See, we get too much into our own heads as well, which gets into the way because of what other people said. So you have to start learning how to filter things out, filter out that energy. And so that's why I would encourage people to go out there and talk to people that you never really talked to before or thought to talk to, because it was instilled and ingrained in our brains that you can't talk to these people, and this is crazy, this is witchcraft, or this is, you know, hocus pocus, whatever. And that's all I want to say. If people reach out, you know, this is a great community here. She does great spiritual work, and you know that's one thing that you have an option to do, and it's nothing. It's nothing when it comes to gaining your life back and take your power back and make your pain your power.
I'm glad you said that. And that's what it is about. It's a choice, right, Henry? It's a choice. We choose whether or not to stay in that mindset. I get it. Sometimes it's dark and sometimes it's hard to get out of it. But at the end of the day, we're choosing to still feel that way. We're choosing to still let it become our kryptonite, our poison, our crutch, our reason, and that should be none of that. It should be a learning thing that we use to step on to become a stepping stone to get out. I just don't know. We have a bunch of comments from
We'll have to catch back up here.
SGF Graham and Kendall. I just don't know when people not get to that point where they just don't realize that it all can change if we change your mindset.
Yes, that can be a really difficult thing. I mean, we're talking about it.
That's true.
I want to read these comments off. We got SGF Graham. He says, I started working on trusting myself by creating goals and completing them. Now I trust myself, and my smaller manifestations are building more trust, which I know will birth the bigger ones. And that's kind of how things work.
And when
Seeds.
in the same time he wrote that, I wrote to him, why do people not trust themselves? But now I didn't realize he was going to answer that. So
Yeah, good job. Yeah, Kendall says that's what I do all the time, and just reach out. Yes.
And then SGF Graham says,
Can be a mixture of people telling you can't and coincidentally don't. No one there when you hold on, let me read this. No one there when you win, so you feel like it doesn't matter. Focusing on external, losing and hearing, I told you so. It can be a list of things that's endless. Loss of life can drive someone down a negative path.
that's true too, being told I told you so, or not there to see your small wins. Because certain, like Chili Mo said, sometimes we look for others' recognition. We look for others people to praise us. And because we've been put down so much, we're looking for that. You're doing a great job, because we don't trust that we're doing a great job with myself.
Yes. I mean, you can minimize your expectations, right? Yeah. Who knows? That's grief is terrible too, with leading you down a negative path. And you had Chili Mo talking earlier about how loners, sometimes it's a way of life. I related to that on a personal level, because I don't know, if it wasn't for like Kimberly and my boyfriend and certain things, you know, hearts are hard to deal with, and brains, I would just be alone right now. I would be on the street corner playing.
I get that. I can receive that.
It's not like I'd be alone. We meet people. I find you don't meet friends because we try to force ourselves into the circle that we work with or we live around and stuff. And I'll go walk down the road right now and I'll just ask 10 people if they want to be friends, or just compliment them or smile at them. Or people try really hard to make friends. I don't know, maybe I'm good at making friends. Just be nice to people and reach out. You never know what's going to happen unless you try.
So I have a theory. And I don't know how true this is, Christy, but at the end of the day, this is how I believe. If you don't respect yourself, then you can tell those people that don't respect themselves, because they don't respect nobody else around them. Do you think that's an accurate theory?
Yes, but people don't see it that way until they recognize what it truly means by meeting someone who's living that kind of life, where they know where they're wanting to go and stuff like that. So, just in the general sense, I've been around people who would look down because of the way that I spoke and everything else, because I live in the inner city now, versus how I grew up. So it would be like, a lot of teasing and all that stuff, but to see that when they could see how I move, whether I would be out here doing cleanups, to being out here and being part of my association where, helping to feed people and, clothes, do all that stuff like that, you can still go out there and do things. And then they started seeing how my goals with my writing, after taking all those time out, for my children, is what I chose, not I'm going to give up my kids because of that disability that's going on, and so I can live my life. So people have to, rein it in and say, okay, I think that we got to just go back to the basics of being around people that may not be like us and not feel like, wait a minute, I'm not a part of the pack anymore. You find yourself, and because there's a lot of hidden gems that you would never be able to see, and a lot of people walk past all the time, and they are people that will shine, but they either dumbing down due to their circumstances, or they're told that way, they're taught that way. It's something of a mental state, of course, because where the mind goes, the body follows.
Yes, that's a true statement.
Do you believe that positive things that we tell ourselves help us, Henry?
Yeah, I think you got to get to that point, though. Are we always telling ourselves positive things, or are we focusing on negatives? I did a balance of them today myself, but trying to focus on positives, and that's kind of where you get into the rut. Like as Jeff was talking about, almost lost life down the negative path. You get into like cycles where you're just like negative, and it's not good for you.
How do you get out of that?
My advice would be redirecting. I walk. I do, and it doesn't have to be walking. It can be do anything that you can do productively is a good way. You don't have to finish. Don't start something with finality. Just get active. And if you can't get active, read something. There's got to be, because if you're not seeing any positives in life, and I'm in shitty situations, then you're doing it wrong. There's got to be something out there you can try and cling to get through. Either there, it's just forever. It's just that there's no rules to follow. Life is chaotic and unpredictable, and we just really got to swim with it. And sometimes swimming with it is just redirecting, putting the controller down, doing something else until your mind stops thinking about that negative stuff. Or getting out of your environment that causing it.
Christy, did you get to a point in life where you didn't really care for yourself?
Actually, yes, but I didn't consider it to be that, because I thought that what I was doing that was taxing me was something I'm supposed to do because I'm a mother. Because I became an orphan at 15. There was loyalties that I had with certain family members that took me down the wrong way. And I kept on thinking, okay, I'm never going to be able to not live out my dream. And it shifted my perception. See, it's about time. It's also about willingness and willpower. If you
What got you out of that?
Willingness and willpower. I have a piece that I'm having that will be coming out in the next year that I wrote about on certain topics. That was one of them. And I said, you know what? Because as I was finding myself, being able, like that puzzle, putting myself back together, but even better and being stronger, and never allowing that to be, my situation. I still find myself saying certain negative things. I get out of it. Because of the fact that even when I hit it, I know what it feels like to want to bounce back up. So when we're looking at willingness and willpower, first of all, you have to be willing to say, you know what, I'm going to be able to do this. Even though I know that certain things are going to happen, I keep on being willing. Then the willpower, let me get up and do. Because words are just words, actions are just actions. But if you have words that match your actions, bam, that's the recipe.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I remember when I was in a very dark place and I wasn't able to look at myself. We talked about that before, where I covered the mirrors for a while and stuff like that. I love the growth that I had in the moments when I didn't think I did. And I didn't acknowledge those because I didn't want to believe that they were there for me. I didn't want to believe that, anything positive was happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to hold on to that negative, maybe because it felt comfortable, because I knew it was going to happen. Maybe because it was so familiar to me. Maybe because it became habit for me. And
Excuse me, Queen, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Can you expand on the familiarity?
Well, when you are raised where nobody really wanted you and people pushed you away and pushed you aside, which you can probably relate to, that you're used to abandonment, you're used to disappointment, you're used to letdowns. So when you do it to yourself, it was just that feeling of, okay, I'm accustomed to that. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to fighting. I'm used to, it's okay, because even though he was tapping my forehead aggressively like that, at least he didn't leave me a bruise and you know, make me conscious. So I got to the fact of that I was making excuses for the reason why it was okay that they were still being abusive to me. Because I was accustomed to the pain.
That's a lot right there. Yeah.
I go right for the throat if someone's looking at me wrong now, pretty much.
I have very healthy boundaries. I have very, very healthy boundaries, and it took a long time to even know what a boundary was, let alone know that I was worthy of one. And that's what it was. The hardest thing I've ever in life overcame was learning how to love myself correctly, because I thought I loved myself because I was still here, but I didn't know how incorrectly I was doing it.
I'll be deceased posterior with you. I got so many nice people in my life who message me and stuff now that I'm having a really hard time establishing boundaries. Then again, I guess it's kind of business fun.
When you talk, go live.
Oh, we will. I
want to hear this.
Now, see, I was gonna go live. No, that was actually it. I was just making a fast point. I just can't. It's hard for me to push people away now because I got a lot of really nice people in my life, and it's really even harder for me to say no or just hang up. And once again, this ties back into I think people talk too goddamn shit. I love them anyway, I guess. Someone's talking.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you a cheat code about Henry, okay?
Oh no.
Here's a small little cheat code with Henry.
That's coffee. I'll be right back.
When Henry has his arms up on any kind of wall, please know that he's slowly looking at it, escape how to get out of that area. I promise. So if you see him grab any wall whatsoever, no matter what the wall is.
It's not just that. I'm just trying to edge away from the conversation. People will talk to you and like they notice like people are edging away from them. How do they not notice that? Like, yeah, you're looking at the wall like, oh my god, I got to eat. I'm on my 5th. That's crazy. I love people, but damn it, pay attention to body language.
Yeah, so like when he slowly walks away, just know that he's doing it because you're either talking too much or he's got to pee.
Everybody does it. Yeah. I'm too nice. I'll hold my pee.
And he holds it so long that the doctor told him he shouldn't.
Yeah, that's definitely not good. Yeah.
Not at all. So when we got a comment from SGF Graham, and he says,
personally, I always see the negative person or the person that let people run them over as people that don't have self-respect. People will not treat you no better than you treat yourself. Yes, you can take it too far and also be abandoned, but I would rather have so much self-respect that comes off arrogant versus no self-respect. I'm inclined to agree with that.
I can too. And that's another point that I was going to say. Christy, do you think that, body language is important for sure. Do you think that so many people don't respect themselves because they're worried about what the other person may think of them being arrogant and overly respecting themselves, so they don't show it?
That's where that term dummy down that I used earlier. Yeah, because some people, they're afraid that if they show any kind of shine, that people are going to come up against them. So they don't want that. Other people, it's that they don't either know or, like me, I knew what it meant. It took a long time for it wasn't just one or a few people. It took life, for 2 decades to really get me to a place where I went all the way down, and then it took more time to get myself up and back to where I needed to be. So it was familiar. It's familiar to me now to understand how it is, where before it was so unfamiliar, but I was trying to grasp every time to get back to that place to where, I had that, to that drive, but I also had to understand about grace and giving myself that grace, saying that, wait a minute, you were doing things that a lot of people don't have to do or don't even have to think about. So you cannot put yourself into their shoes, but it was about circumstances. It was about, the survival of the fittest. And so, and like I said, being, disabled, getting disabled in the midst of raising my oldest daughter. Nobody expects those things. So when you're feeling less than inside, it is a lot of times, like for me, it was about, why is the world coming against me so hard? Why is it, that this is just, everything is just a struggle just to do something, and it makes you really go in there and question yourself and other things that are going on around you. But those boundaries are there for reasons. And that's what I used to have, was those boundaries. And that is self-respect. And so when some people say, oh, well, you know what? I never, will let nobody do this or that, well, there's the slim people that do that. However, if you find yourself jammed up out here in this world by yourself, you know what I mean? And your allies are very little, regardless of where you're living, how much money, whatever it is, you still have to have people in community. You still have to live and work with people. We just can't shut ourselves off to the world, period. So I just hope that everybody can find their, their why, as we talked about it before. And not be so concerned about the how. Yeah.
I get that. I know somebody who they may say something when I tell a story. Every time they'd go to a family member's house and when they were younger and they were dressed nice, the family would be like, oh, you think you're better than us? Oh, you think you think that da 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 because you got both your parents there and because you're dressed like you dress. So they started not wearing that clothes because of how their family made them feel. And it's crazy because what I've noticed, you can really tell whether somebody likes themselves or not is how they treat you. You can honestly really tell. If they feel like you are in competition with them, then they are in competition with themselves. If they feel like that you are judging them, it's because they're judging themselves. People don't realize that we mirror people so much, and that reflection doesn't lie.
I mean, this applies to demographics too. There's groups of people who think that therapy is for pussies. All right. I mean, there wasn't a bunch of therapists during the Crusades, or maybe they were. I don't know what they would say. We're in a new age here, and we demean people left and right for certain things. And why? Are we upset with ourselves? Society? I don't know. The clothing thing bothered me. I've had family do that crap to me too.
Did you read the ISIS papers? Please say yes.
For the show?
No, in general.
No, I did not.
Oh, you should. So at the end of the day, I realize that it's been pushed upon us through doctorates, through people that are studied to study this, have said. I don't know, but people that have studied this have said this. And he said, and they said that, society had made it so that men are weak. They made it that you can't show emotion. They made it that, having feelings and an opinion as a man is a sign of being feminine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, empathy.
Yeah. And then they made it so that women had to feel masculine. Because when the men were at the wars, the women had to work.
It's ridiculous.
And they were pushing that on your youngest children of going to battle because they were of age. And it was the craziest thing ever that it's manipulation of your mind. They mind warped and manipulated people to think that it's not okay to say you need help. It's not okay to not be okay. And if you are not okay, don't mention it to nobody.
It's crazy.
It is so crazy, and it affects our youth. It not only affects the adults, but it affects our youth at a young age when all you have is discernment and childlike behaviors. Why do you think of unaliving yourself? I cannot wrap my head around it. It's only because the only thing I can think of is what we see, what we're raised in. What would Chili most say?
Let's see, dissociative identity disorder, DD, formerly multiple personality disorder. It's a serious mental health condition where a person experiences two or more distinct identities or personality statuses, each with its own unique patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. People with DID may feel a strong desire to be someone else, or they may feel that their current identity is not real, that they're simply living under the control of another identity within them. When someone is described as vulnerable, it means they are susceptible to being hurt, either physically, emotionally, or being negatively impacted to others or circumstances. It implies a state of being at risk, weak, exposed, making them easier to be attacked, damaged, or exploited.
That's true too.
I got this cute crop on right now, right? I got my makeup on, and I open carry. My pronouns are Smith and Wesson, and I'm very empathetic. And I'm very empathetic to the point where if I see someone getting abused or assaulted in public, I'm not taking it anymore. It's not going to go. These ideals of weakness and stuff. I love to challenge those in society. Are you serious? Like, I get sick of people, And identity is actually really important to me. Shit. Once I started getting more femme and weak, as they put it, I feel like I could kick a hole through a brick wall right now. I just love it. I work out. I walk every day. I run every day. I go to therapy. I talk with people I love. And I can build a fire with sticks. I mean, what is... Meow. There's probably a bunch of snot on my back, and that's okay.
No, there's not. I cupped in my hand.
So I don't know. I hate the weakness thing. I hate I hate how they view it and how they've beaten men down. I mean, men have therapy. They sure do. It's in a Bud Light can and either country, western, or death metal.
Or Sam Fine.
Yeah. I'm not going to counter about hip hop and rap, but I don't know. There's something funnier, jovial about that. Maybe. I don't know.
So, Christy, what's the purpose of manipulation? Of making you feel like you are vulnerable and that you cannot open up?
The purpose of manipulation is to control. It's as simple as that. You want to have control. You want to control people. You want to control the masses. As many people as you can, whether, you're sadistic in a small way to the, to the grand way. We can look back through history and starting from this point, like 10 minutes ago history, all the way to the beginning of what we know of any type of history. You can see that, there's great evil. People who ruled that they were great good, or they were great evil. And when we say that, it's because they're brilliant, but they chose one thing or they chose the other way. And they manipulated so many people. You think that not only in governments, but you also look in religions like Jim Jones and how many people killed themselves. And we just look at all the different things going on and we say, okay, why are people doing that? We were talking about religions to, different politics, all that stuff that goes into play, our childhoods, all of that. And bottom line, control. Because if I can control you, then it's better for me. Some people don't want to see that when we are dealing with each other, it is a need to have community. There's nothing wrong with needing to have community. It's that if you are being abused, if somebody that you are being put down and to stay down, then that's when it's time to understand when to go ahead and walk, because all you're going to do is fall deeper. And the deeper you fall, the harder it is to get up, even though it's not impossible. But it takes more time to get out than it is for somebody to knock you on down. It's control, manipulation is everything. And it's always been. We got to do something about it.
Yeah, I agree.
That falling part, I relate to that. I saw a sign once. I saw this sign in my hometown. It said, "It's easier to teach a child than it is to repair an adult."
So true.
And that I was like, man, that's a good sign. I think I was actually messed up when I read that, and I'm like, I'm messed up. But that really stuck out for me. As Jeff Graham jumps on here and he says, people like me didn't have time to think. Section 8 and housing authority took over families. It was easier to put the dude up and let him worry about get cheap rent and promise shelter for your kids and get education. If you owe, you can't get education. Now it's a huge gap between educated man and woman. Who has time for therapy when you went through this? Music, smoke, this podcast is my therapy. Oh, that's Jeff. We got, it's okay to be yourself in every situation, says Cool Vibes. Yeah, we got to be ourselves. Got to be ourselves. That's the identity thing. I think people lose their identity. I'm not talking about being, sexual orientation or how you feel or being trans or anything. It's just your identity is more than that. That is encompassed in it. But I don't think anybody's got a clue what their identity is going on. I mean,
Do you think that PTSD is so strong and so high of a thing because we weren't prepared? We weren't prepared for the mental abuse that we'd be putting on ourselves or allowing others to put on to us.
we weren't prepared
At all, from the time we were born, because we were, even though some of us were born in trauma, were born in unstableness. Like me, I was born in chaos. So when I didn't see chaos, it was weird and uncomfortable to me, and I was looking for chaos to start.
It's not a choice.
No, but at the end of the day, do you think because we're not prepared? We're definitely not prepared for what is entailed. They tell us when we start thinking of things and we start using our imagination and stuff like that, they tell us that might be schizophrenic, or we might have this personality disorder, or we might have this and might have that, all because we still want to keep our mind open.
We figure out those disorders through doctors and therapists, and you just kind of got to go to figure those out. If not, you just live in pain.
But sometimes it's just, I have an open mind. My mind is so open that I will see things. Doesn't mean I'm delusional. Doesn't mean I have schizophrenia because I hear an inner voice.
No.
I have a narrator.
Some people don't have an inner monologue. What do you guys think about that? I got to ask that, Christy, and everybody else. Do you know anybody who doesn't have an inner monologue? And what does that entail?
Well, see, I think that what happens is that if people are really honest about that, it will come off to some people as, okay, yeah, you sounding crazy. So when those people say that, oh, I don't have that, then it's like, okay, but do you have something similar to that? And I think that that's where we come into, for me, is the spirit. It's something that is hitting you because there's something bigger than us, which we even got the universe that's bigger than us. So some people just stop there. Other of us go all the way up to the Most High. Whatever that looks like to you is the point of understanding the connection. So somebody can say, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I heard, God. They'll say, okay, I heard God tell me, to do this, that, or the third, And it's like, oh, okay, you understand certain lingo, but then some things don't make sense. Like, okay, God told you to run into that tree. Like, so that way you can understand what pain means. Like, no, you were drunk. You know what I mean? Like, stop playing. You just weren't thinking straight. Like, what are you talking about? So it is a mindset thing that we have to just be mindful of. And with the PTSD, I was actually diagnosed with that when I was 16 after both my parents died. And so you're right, we're not prepared. And so many people coming from war, my father being, in 2 wars and stuff like that, I got to understand that how people, you're not prepared to see certain things. And it's not a weakness at all because we're human. So we are not going to see certain things coming, whether it was you grew up in it or it's something that happened after. in life, at some point you're going to hit trauma, but some of us hit more traumas than others. It's about understanding that, yes, it is real. And you have to do, and therapy could mean just talking just like this. You got to find those people. That's what we did before it was going to a therapy. What is that you got with your friends and stuff like that, and you talk? Everybody talk. We don't talk. And if we do, then we're worried about being censored and all that other stuff instead of being ourselves, because that will get shut down. We'll get canceled.
No.
It's terrible.
We already, yeah, I don't even want to say it, but
I asked SGF Graham, what's the benefits of having control over unhealed mind? And he said,
you don't have control of an unhealed mind. You have to seek help internally and have something you trust externally to regain help the healing mind, and understand we are always healing. I like that response a lot.
I like that response a lot too. And you know, when you become aware of your surroundings and you become aware of yourself and you become aware of the energy in the room, you can tend to be able to just flow like you and I do. That's because I can feel when you want to say something. You can feel when I want to say something without seeing body language and whatnot. And the thing is that we did it the other day. You busted out the guitar and you started just making this little funny thing. And I just chimed in and followed it with you. And it was like we rehearsed it.
It was the whacking off song, wasn't it?
Anyhow.
Uh-oh.
But the thing is, when you become one with yourself, though, you're able to become one with others in an effortless manner. We're all supposed to be able to think and feel other people's words without even hearing them. We're not supposed to be speaking like this. That is not what it was meant for. Yet people are so closed-minded and their minds are so shut off because they're afraid of the unknown so much that they want to stay comfortable in what they do know. And a lot of times it is the struggle. That's where the title comes in. Live like you want, not like you have to. So to wrap things back around is a mindset. You got to be able to get away from the unknown and the fear of it all. This is
I'm gonna jump on this.
This is me to the T.
Yeah. Let's read. We do all.
This is the last. This is before it starts.
Okay. We got Chili Mo. Hyperempathy syndrome occurs when you are too in tune with other people's emotions and mirror them to the same intensity. In other words, you care too much. People with hyperempathy may find it hard to regulate their emotions and have a tendency to pick up on negative feelings, almost like people pleasing.
Almost.
This is me to the T from SGF. Chili Mo says mutual tolerance. By agreeing to disagree, both parties are essentially saying that they will tolerate each other's views even though they may not agree with them, which is interesting. It ties into what Kimberly just said with because I feel 100% comfortable around Kimberly, which is not as rare. And we do not agree on everything. Shit, by any means. No,
not at all. And the thing is, I don't like a lot of people, even though I love people. I love people. I just don't like the uncontrolled energy and unmindful people. So I try to limit my circle really small. I will never leave the house all day if I don't have to, ever. And I don't have to. I will order things online and everything. All my stuff came from Amazon. I promise you. I don't walk in stores. I don't put shoes on. I don't use chemicals on my body. I'm so at one with myself that other people, and my hair is always wrapped when I go out, just about 75% of the time. I'm so in tune with what other people's energy can do to me to affect me. I've had soul ties. I've had exchange. I've had demons.
And I can't stay in the house.
And we have a whole different belief system on a lot of things. And it's called respect. I respect me. And that in turn makes me want to respect you.
Oh.
And because you respect you, It shows by how much you respect me. And that's what it's about. Loving yourself. It's about finding your worth and knowing that, you know, okay, yeah, you let yourself down before, but heal that inner child and give yourself a hug and realize it's okay. Grace. You said that earlier, Christy. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. Giving yourself grace. We were raised knowing our purpose. We didn't have a real proper handbook saying this is how you need to be in a class on how to be. So people need to realize that they got to love yourself first. Sosa Davis said.
Sosa Davis jumps in.
808, appreciate you. Send some music in for tomorrow's review show. But anyhow, you got to learn to love yourself. And it's hard, especially when it's unfamiliar.
I love myself. I'm doing this because I love myself.
And what SGF Graham say? Chili Mo says, yes, Kim, controlling your energy is very important. And
SGF says, hyper empathy isn't people pleasing. I said kind of like. Their feelings can take over what I have going on and have to exit because I'm feeling emotions that aren't mine. I don't want what comes with it, at least in my opinion.
No, and he just said similar as in to feel and care of what someone else. I think that's what his intent was.
No, honestly, SGF, I'm the kind of person who breaks something flat, like not even like trivial, like a piece of junk, garbage or anything. I'll look at it and I go, I feel bad that I broke this because someone maybe even operated a machine to make it and it made its way all the way to me. I had to really get over being hyper empathetic about things because my heart gets ripped out by a lot of shit. I have a hard time looking at the world. I spend a lot of time trying to not let it hurt me. And it's been a learning experience. I'm a people pleaser on top of that, and it kind of fed into that. But yeah, the empathy thing hit me. I just didn't say it before, so I do appreciate it.
So, just know you're not alone. We're all pretty fucked up. I promise you. And we will listen to you without judgment, and we care. Not because we want something in return, other than seeing you love yourself correctly. So if you need help, get a hold of anybody on the panel. Get a hold of any of my Twisted team members. There's like 12 of us, if not a little more. Get a hold of anybody. And I promise you, every one of us will care like it's happening to us.
I care. My door is open for drug and alcohol addiction. I know I'm doing this right here, and I'm not doing it for fun. I'm doing it because I'm really, really suffering from ADHD right now. It's the only thing that slows down my psyche enough to exist in my own skin.
That's not considered a drug anymore, though.
No, it's not. But it's kind of like drinking a beer on camera. But sorry, people, you just got to deal with it. I didn't medicate for my show.
Don't apologize to them. If you're offended by that, please.
Yeah, don't jump on our podcast. How about
please,
that?
don't have a conversation with me because I'm too unempathetic of people's sensitivity when it comes to certain things. I don't really care what others think.
I'm just doing it because I love myself.
But I get it. He apologized. That was nice of him.
It's unprofessional of me.
It's okay. So, anyways, let's wrap it up by doing positive quotes. Chrissy, give them something positive.
Yeah. What is positive is that we can change our mind. We can. So find your willingness every morning, start anew, and your willpower, and continue to either start making it happen, but always continue. Never drop that ball because you are worth it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm going to let you end it on the positive note. I'm going to say just one more time that you're not alone. And even if you don't love yourself, just know you are the most important person in this world because you told me. You are the most important person in your world. Because if you weren't here, neither would your world be for you. And you taught me that, and that meant so much to me. And I don't think you were in a healed place when you told me that.
No. Just don't develop main character syndrome on it and you'll be good.
I'm telling you right now, with my OCD and my want to be in control, I'm going to.
We're all the main character. Life is perception through our eyes. You are the main character, but you want to be a good guy, okay? We all want to be the good guy.
Separate the seeds in front of you.
I can't even make bad decisions in video games. You got to kill 12 people to progress in the video game. No, I'm not even taking that route, okay? I can't do it. I know they're just like video game people. That's another thing. Damn, you know what? I learned something a little more on this podcast. I gotta look at that. But you know what? My positive quote is if the world, if everything looks too expensive, if people are corrupt, if things look crazy, if nothing makes sense to you, you're probably right. So adapt the best way you can. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I don't know. Maybe picketing through the streets in our capital or something. That'd be pretty cool. But until then, just I'm going to keep flowing with it because I swam against the current for so many years that my arms are tired. And that's rock bottom. My arms are tired. So I wanted to say one thing before we left too. I didn't mean to make it my podcast, but my boyfriend, Harry, who is a very well-adjusted person and I think is very healed and had a wonderful life. We're not all healed, but damn, great, well put together person said, his rock bottom was when his lungs collapsed for like the third time, and he was trying to smoke a cigarette on the way to the hospital. And he said, damn, you know, that's ridiculous. And he quit smoking. So it's a pretty bad situation, but it's not depths of like it's not drug addiction like we were talking about, something completely different, you know? So no, we're not all suffering from PTSD and drug and alcohol addiction. Sometimes we just got shit going on in our lives that's very personal to us. We get through it. And we're not bad for thinking that way. Thanks for stopping by our podcast.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let everybody know, start living like you want it, not like you have to. And then maybe your life will change. And what does this say? What does my brother say?
SGF Graham says, my positive quote, you are what you need to be. Maybe you don't see it, but nothing that can't be changed is wrong with you.
That's right.
Yes.
Start living your life like you want it. Please. Not like you have to. May your night be full of positive energy and high vibrations. Thank you for allowing us into your home, your heart, your ears, your mind, your time. Peace and love, everyone.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people. Rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective. It's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is. Where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you. But with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup. We finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Plan is passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to reflect on all the juice like torture. It's on you, tell the truth.
Yeah, we about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. Listen. Yeah, aim in the fit so you see in the mirror. Play with your focus and watch it get clear. Polish your crown, turn it up if you wear. You live in the root, release what you're fearing. And watch it all rise, the righteous will hear it. They calling us twisted, I'm not even caring. Because it's unseen, the mind is too barren. They won't even heal it, they pass it to cheering. We over here healing, conversing and listening. Know that the truth isn't always appealing, but end it with healing and find your beginning. Frequency positive, what you receiving. Perception is up to you, what you believing. What you retrieving, mentally speaking. Life that they breathing, no words from a heathen. Don't know it all, but together undefeated. Conversation rather want it, you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the trial with the students and teachers. All got a voice, we the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. conversation. Yeah, let's go. Praying for truth cause the world is so fickle. Keeping my mental how clean as a whistle. Attention's a trap, they can lead you astray. Sneering this shit through the storm and the haze. Real conversations are lost in the greed. Others get lost in the web that it weaves. Sift through the rhetoric, uncover schemes. Knowledge inherited, this is imperative. I got a lot on my mind and I'm sharing it. Apples to oranges, it ain't no comparisons. I'm the type that'll never break character. I'm the type to make memories and cherish. Through trust, intuition, and doubt or disparity. Pursuing the echoes of wisdom. Chasing that moment of clarity. Conversation rather one and you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah or Jesus. Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track, we the students and teachers. All got a voice, who the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Conversation rather one and you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah or Jesus. Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track with the students and teachers. All got a voice, who the ears that'll listen. Who the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Huh?
It's on, you tell the truth.